Episode 77 of the Too Thicc Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. Your weekly, bi-weekly, semi-weekly, 5 times a week hobby release. I am your host, Jeremy. You can follow me at Reckless Cards. And I'm joined by the homie, Manny. What's good, kid?
What's up? How are you? I'm blessed that it's another episode in our books. I'm haven't talked to you in forever, so I'm pretty excited to get some of our hobby release out, as we say.
Yeah, man, it's going to be exciting too. Let me tell you what, a lot of very kind and warm messages after last week's episode, where people were like, "Hey, we found the conversation to be very relatable and very authentic," which was like an awesome feeling. So in a world of negativity, a world full of a lot of BS, a world full of not so good, it was probably made you feel good. I know it made me feel good to see that there are other people out there that are, similar to you and I.
Yeah, of course. At first I was like, wow, a lot of people feel bad for me because I got DMs and was like, I feel the same way. It's okay. You'll get through it. And I was like, oh, no, it's actually a lot of people have the same mindset as what I was going through at the National. So it made me feel good that we're putting out organic content and what we feel like we're not going to BS anything. So
yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a fun episode. There's like a million topics to touch on. How long we spend on them, it's neither here nor there. We will see, but I have an unpopular opinion that I look forward to talking about. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, I probably have another unpopular opinion. I think Dumb and Dumber, is that it? Is a absolutely terrible movie. Full disclosure, I've never seen it, but I've seen highlights, and you couldn't pay me $1,000 to watch that hunk of crap. That's a big pass. But we're going to be talking about PSA. We're going to be talking about the Premier League. We're going to be talking about TSA. We're going to be talking about Star Jordan, and we're going to be talking about one of ones. And so I'm really excited, and I'm going to leave it to you, man. I'm always driving. I'm going to be the passenger. I'm going to let you drive today.
Wow, you're throwing me a curveball on today's episode, aren't you?
I am.
Let's talk about what got me, and it happened yesterday about the news with PSA authenticating the one-of-one Justin Herbert. So the story is, right, Herbert was signing these cards and put a little inscription in it that said one of one. And PSA said that they can't grade these, but it was Aaron Jones that was doing the same thing, or AJ Dillon was doing the same thing, and they happened to grade those. So consistency is not key at PSA, and I'm going to say, based on my recent subgrades, that I'm feeling the same way. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the lack of consistency, and so I know, I didn't find it cool when they had like Steve Aoki's Michael Jordan. Like, because in my opinion, he might be a great DJ. He might be a great hobby ambassador. But when you start doing stuff like that, you're showing that, hey, there's people that if you're popular socially, that there are certain advantages, and that doesn't make for an even playing field. And I'm not crying that it's not fair. What I'm saying is, it's just like, let's have some consistency, because what had happened is this Herbert was slabbed. It was previously authenticated. Somebody cracked it, got Justin Herbert to sign it. It was a real slick looking signature. And then he put the one-of-one on it. They sent it back in, and PSA told him, nah, kid, we're not grading this. And then you look over, and that, I'm not going to even say his name because I'm a Bears fan, but that Packers back, who is a hobby participant, which is dope, signed a bunch of his own cards, put numbers on them, and got him slabbed. And so it's like, to me, why is it okay over here but not over here?
Yeah, I think he also had his friends sign some cards. I think he had Herbert and everyone sign them and then sent them in too.
I mean, there could be a very good reason. The only thing that I can come up with as a simple man in the great state of Michigan is the person who submitted this Herbert card is not a celebrity, he's not a famous athlete, he's not a musician. And when Mr. Packers player did it, that's good for publicity. So I think there needs to be some consistency because that actually would be something that I would do. I'm not a huge fan of on-card autos, but if you're going to pay somebody to do an auto and put something on that, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't normally buy those kinds of cards, but if like you've got them putting stuff on it, that would be pretty dope in my opinion.
You forgot one person though, celebrity hobby person, and it's Shay. You got to do the rain dance or whatever he calls it, the PSA 10 dance to get his PSA 10. And I think he cracked the code. So maybe next time I do a submission, I'm going to do that dance, and hopefully I get my PSA 10s. They get some content out of it, so maybe they'll realize that maybe let me get him a PSA 10.
Yeah, they're gonna find out real quick. Like either give Manny PSA 2s or PSA 10s because it's gonna be good for business.
Yeah, exactly.
We did hobby night school with Shay, and it was funny. I told him like part of our nightly routine. I was in Cincinnati last night, and I FaceTimed with my kids, put them to bed, chatted with my wife, and then we both messaged via text because we were both watching Shay. Just be very open and honest, and it was that's part of the nighttime routine these days.
Dude, it's his content's amazing. To be like, it's so awesome. I don't know, his mind I think goes in like 100 miles per hour, and he wants to get it all out, and it just makes for amazing content.
I love it, man. I have always encouraged that dude since the first time I met him. I bought some cards off of him. Any chance I can, I'm like, man, please keep doing your thing. I love it. I don't even have to agree with the stuff you're saying. I could think it's maybe a little wild, but I just appreciate it because like he's just being who he is. He's not playing a part, which is dope.
Yeah.
Now I got to I know I told you I was going to let you drive, but I have to get this off my chest because I recognized this earlier this week, and I'm not going to let you get a free pass. You know what I mean? You come up in here and you act big and tough, and then you smile for the camera, and everybody thinks that you're sweet Manny and the greatest guy ever.
No.
You're adamant that Eminence was going to be less than $8,000. And you bet me $1,000 cash. And lately I've been seeing these boxes go for between 20 and 30K. And I took the over, so I'm pretty sure I won.
Yeah, if you were doing prices right. But I mean, you were way off too. You said 10,000. So
I think the actual number, if you listen, I did say 20, but I said I would take the over at 10.
You did? I don't know. We'll have to review the tape. But yeah, it's that product's insane. I've seen people ripping it, and it's funny because it's like, I don't know. You probably didn't watch Squid Games because you don't watch any show, but am I right?
I did see Squid Game.
Oh, did you? So
I did.
People like Lamine puts a little meme every time people are ripping national treasures. That's truly the people that were ripping Eminence football.
Yeah, you know what? And you mentioned the meme. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out Octane Collectibles. I know I just talking to you before we hit record, and his stuff it's not for the kids. Let me just put it that way, but it's more legitimate. Like I have a good feeling in my heart when I click through his stuff. It's better than all the people fighting with one another. It's a good laugh, poking fun at this hobby that we all love.
Yeah, well, that football had me looking at soccer, and then they have that in soccer too. That product,
yeah,
it's insane. Like Ronaldo autos are going for like 15K. I don't know what the box prices were for those, but that product seems like it's selling like crazy. I also saw that product at the National, and people were getting steals on those cards because no one knew what they were worth.
Yeah, I made a play for an Eminent soccer card this last week. I took a beating on eBay. There was a Landon Donovan number to 10 Eminence on card auto, just a beautiful, beautiful card. And I'm not a huge Landon Donovan fan, but I was trying to get it at a price where I felt like it was just going to be easy. One, it would be cool to have, make some content, like a badass card, like something that even if you don't like the soccer player, the card looks so beautiful that you're going to stop and have a conversation. Missed out on that. Then there was a Black Gold P. Will, numbered out of 8, PSA 10, that I had made a couple offers earlier in the day, and people didn't hit decline or accept. So when I was messaging this guy, like within my budget, I was like, this is where I'm at. Just so you know, I think your number is more than fair, but I don't want to assume, because you never know. He might not be a Patrick Williams fan, might be hard up for cash, whatever the case may be. And he gave me a number, and I'm like, look, I'm going to circle back. I'm not going to go rescind a bid. I'm not that sort of guy. I've already made a commitment. And so I've got like 19 hours before, the bid falls off. And so ultimately I was going after a 1 of 1. And I thought my number was going to win. I was willing to go higher, and I lost by $10. So just a kick in the stone. So immediately I lost that. I went back to the black gold PSA 10, and the guy had just sold it. And so it was just like 0 for 2. Meanwhile, wifey spent like 4 figures on Stranger Things cards and was just winning. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, I was just getting skunked, man.
Yeah. She said she's already set the market for those Stranger Thing cards.
Well, she ran into that same situation. We've got some duplicates because she was making offers, then people started accepting them. And so it was like, well, we've got 2 and 3 of these. So now like the mail days are like Stranger Things mail days. And then it's like, all right, get them and put them back up on eBay.
That's funny. Well, I think it's karma from you, by the way. If you don't know Jeremy, don't give him your eBay account, because this asshole will lowball you on every one of your cards that you have posted. And he tried to do that with my cards. I was some of them were getting auto declined because how bad he was lowballing them.
Yeah, that's something I do for fun. And so, like, for instance, it was like Revolution Russ on Instagram, who I met via eBay like years ago. He bought some soccer cards, and we put our little thank you card in there, and then we connected on Instagram, and then it's just been super cool. Anytime he has stuff up and I'm bored, I'll just go in there, and because I know he gets like pissed off and he's like very vocal.
Yeah.
So like I like to go in there and like just make like the most dumbass lowball offers. Let him get worked up, only for him to recognize like it's just Jeremy being a bag and have a good laugh.
Get a burner account and just do that to him. You can't do it off your Reckless account. You got to do it off a burner.
No, it's off Reckless. So
yeah, do it off the burner.
On a side note, and we meant to do this by design, but it's happened more and more. When you have your stuff branded all the same way, it is, and I'm not encouraging people to do this, but it makes it very easy if somebody sees something or you see something and they recognize who you are to find you different avenues. So for instance, I was second place on a card. I believe it sounds as if the low bidder is not going to pay, but because our stuff is it's Reckless cards everywhere. I actually got an email and an Instagram message from this person saying, hey, if this guy doesn't pay, would you be willing to pay at your number? And I was like, for sure. Mm-hmm. So little side note there might be of use to some of you folks.
No, it definitely is. Did you see the information since we talked about PSA? Did you see the Beckett slab information? Like when we went to National, how they try to change their slab?
Yeah, so when we were walking the show, I was a little bit confused because they had these new slabs up, and I didn't know what to make of them. I'm not a huge fan of the current BGS slab. This is my opinion. It's got a little bit of a old school trophy feel. Like they cut out that little metal and put it in there. I'm not the biggest fan of it, and so I thought like maybe if there's going to be a new, maybe slightly slimmer, sleeker design, I might be able to fall in love with it. So what's the news?
Well, they try to change it. It looked like, what's that grading company? FCG or something like that? The grading
forensic card grading or something.
So they've looked very similar to that, but it got a lot of like Beckett, since they've had their slabs, got a lot of hate through the National. Well, there's word they just came out and said that's not our slab. But on the website, they even showed that same slab that they showed at the National. So my thing is, why would you show this slab if it's not going to be the one that you are actually doing? I think what happened is they announced it and they got so much backlash. You had Bro Namath put it in people in headlocks when he was in line with all his Dragon Ball Z cards. They probably were like, yeah, we need to change this.
I was actually, even though I didn't like it or love it, or I was just kind of like trying to make sense of what I felt about it. I probably, if they would have had, I was thinking at that moment, I'm going to get a card graded by BGS just so I can say I had one of like the first slabs. And then that's where the confusion began for me because they had it posted up everywhere. Real nice booth. And then obviously everybody knows we were doing a deal with Bro Namath. And so his opinion means a lot. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a card done. And then somebody was like, yeah, but they actually don't have these slabs here. They're just like posters. And so I'm like, that's very unnecessary confusion that's not needed for anybody.
But I think, like I said, I think it's hilarious that they were like, yeah, they backtracked. Yeah, those aren't the ones, but they were like posting it on everything. If they just went back and said, yeah, the backlash of these, we're going to redesign them.
I wonder if it was like, hey, let's throw some shit at the wall. And then like, yeah, this is a good idea, guys. This is a good idea. And then they just have like plants out walking the crowd. Like, guys, cut it. Cut it. This ain't it. This ain't it.
I'm telling you, it's Bro Namath. How much he was back in that line. He was in that line almost every day. That dude probably put someone in a headlock, probably the CEO, and told him, let's change it.
Yeah, you see him at like 4:00 in the morning wandering the casino with his crew.
Yeah.
And we're shouting stuff back and forth. And then 7:00 in the morning, he shows you in his line at BGS. He's about that life.
Yeah, he is. Speaking of BGS and PSA also, did you see the Star? There's big drama on the Star PSA 8.5 or PSA 8 BGS 8.5 on what you should get, the price discrepancy of both of them. How do you feel about all this situation? I can't afford either one. You probably can, but I'm not going my car to buy one. So.
No, man. And if you were, when there was all the talk about the Nike promo, the Jordan Star, and the Fleer, if you weren't on the Star train then, like at this point, to me, it's just a pump job. Now, I will say the discrepancy between BGS 8.5, where you can get 3 of them for the price of one PSA 8, that is
stupid.
That is stupid.
It is stupid.
Right. That, like, I get that PSA is king right now. And I get that BGS, has made some mistakes and all that, but let's not get it twisted. When I was a kid, BGS was king and nobody was messing with PSA.
Mm-hmm.
And to just go out and say that, like, if you cracked these and crossed them over, they'd be PSA 6s or, all the crazy stuff. I don't know how to articulate it in a way where I'm not being insulting or damning, but it doesn't make sense to me. I would much rather, all day 3 BGS 8.5s, because you can't tell me, let's say even if they got one wrong, if I would cross all 3.
Mm-hmm.
And collectively, whatever they got, 8, 7, I don't know, man. It just doesn't. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah. So I do want to say me and you aren't snobs on what to grade. Look, I just pulled out an SGC, a BGS, a CSG, and a PSA card right next to me, and I know you probably have the same. So I mean, we're not snobs on what it is. We just want, like you said, we said in the beginning, consistency through the grading companies. It just seems like, it's a piece of plastic, and all in all, it's plastic, and people are like up in hands. If I show this CSG card, which I want to bring up, if I ever show my CSG card on Instagram, I'm gonna get hate. Why are you CSG, SGC, BG? Like, it's weird how people are like, just like, I love the card, so I'm just gonna buy it. You know what I mean?
Well, is that what the hobby people, the true collectors say? Buy the card, not the slab.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
until you buy the slab that they don't like, and then all of a sudden you're an idiot.
Yep. So I'm going to be called an idiot because I'm going to post this on our Instagram. But yeah, all in all, it's just weird how, like, PSA, BGS, like all the grading companies, they do stuff and they're not consistent, and we don't hold them accountable. I mean, we're going into an all slab world, right? Everyone wants their card slab. They should be accountable if they're going to be not consistent with their stuff, either. And I don't get why BGS, PSA, or CSG have to redo their slabs. I know they're trying to look more modern, but why?
There's things about each slab that I like.
Yes.
There's things about each slab that I don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like the lightweight of the PSA. I like the subgrades of BGS. I love the look of SGC and CSG. That was just one card I got, to be honest. I got 2 of them. But I that was my first one, and I actually like how like they feel and how like you could tell they're sturdy plastic. But that's
They
it.
had maybe a year ago I started buying CSG 95s. We did on Reckless Cards, a little bit of a plug there. We just decided let's buy a bunch of cards that are slabbed, crack them into PSA and see how they did. And we had pretty damn good results, but I was like, man, these badass cards. There was like a Shohei Gold rookie that was an CSG 95 that I got for 10, 20, 30% of what it was going for in a different slab. And I'm like, okay, the rumors are that these people grade tough, which is good.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful thing. And I got the card and it had that. I wasn't a fan of the green, but the glass or the plastic was crystal clear. And like the back, it had a little like diamond or emerald thing on the back. And it was just it felt good. It looked super clear. It was like, I didn't care for the label, but the slab itself, man, it felt good. And I will say this too. Back like when HGA first came out, I loved the feel of the slab. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit thick. It was clear. It was sturdy. I sort of like the rounded edges. And so to me, it comes down to card. And obviously, if you have to play the flip game, you obviously PSA is king, right? So sometimes you go with it even if you didn't want to, but if that's where you're going to maximize your ROI, that's the game that we're playing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, you like the thickness of the card or the slab. So
two C's.
2 C's. Let's get into do you want to get into? Do you got some recent pickups that you want to show? I got some I really want to show. I'm excited that I got. If not, I'll just show mine.
I've showed them really on Instagram, but I'll show them again. These were the two. So you got the P Will.
Yep. Gold.
The gold.
For people listening, it's gold. Prism, right?
Yep, Prism out of 10.
PSA
and
9.
And then this just optic gold. And again, I bought the card, not the slab.
Yeah.
Now I will. I know you want to show off your card, but I'd like to bring something up. I'm big into trying things. We're actually going to send this over. Now I understand centering is slightly off, top to bottom, and maybe a smidge left to right. We're actually going to try PSA's crossover process, and I've read all the blowout forums that it's like terrible results. However, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm not going to crack it out in advance. I'm going to put a min grade on it. I'm going to put a min grade of PSA 9 and send it and see what it is. And it's more so like a curiosity.
Yeah.
Because I've never done it before and I want to try it and see if I could have some success.
Mm-hmm. Just do your dance beforehand.
Yeah, no, I break the internet if I start dancing.
Yeah, so I'll show you mine. I got them on the PWCC weekly auction.
Oh, Jeremy, I wish you the best of luck. That was an interesting topic. Oh, thanks, Manny. I appreciate it. Let's get into your damn card. I'll keep my opinions to myself.
No, it was. I'm sorry. But the crossover, I've never done it. So I know most people, and you scare me by saying that it doesn't work. So I'm curious on what you get. So when you get the grade back, you have to kind of tell us what you got.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to spend $100 or $200, and if it crosses to PSA, I'll be upcharged based on the value of the card.
True.
But if it doesn't, because I'm going to put it has to at least be a PSA 9. And if it doesn't, I'll still get charged, and it'll just come back in the SGC slab. And excuse me, the reason for somebody's asking, like, why would you do it? You collect Patrick Williams. At some point, there's going to be a bigger P. Will card that becomes available. And we have a lot of money in P. Will right now. And so I'm already preparing for that difficult decision when I have to part ways with a card. So I want to be able to maximize that if at all possible.
Wait till we go to Skyline and you have those P. Wills out.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be tough to sell, but no, I'm excited about your card. Let's get to your.
No, you're
card.
not. Don't lie to me. I got 2 of them. So the PWCC has that.
What do you mean bullshit? Like, I get up at 4 a.m. I drive and fly all over God's green earth. I work my ass off, and I was laying in bed like a teenager the other night, chatting with you, talking about cards. And I thought about it. I'm like, I am a grown man at 11 o'clock at night, not texting like normal people, but it brought me back to when I was like 12. And do you remember? You're probably too young. We used to have phones connected to the wall.
I had
And
that.
and then so like I one time we had a cord and you could maybe go 6 to 8 feet from it. So it was like typically you're standing next to the little oven, right?
Yeah.
And so once in a great while, my parents wouldn't like give me a hard time or they'd be gone. And you always felt like a cool kid. They didn't even know who you were talking to, but just be able to sit on the ground, holding your phone like this, talking. It brought me back, man. It was nostalgic. I'm an old ass man laying in bed talking to another dude about pictures of dudes in cardboard and how we think they're neat.
Oh, that was perfect because
so don't tell me I don't give a shit.
The best
misrepresentation will not be tolerated here.
So people that don't know, we have like a group chat and it's with our wives in it, and it's our Too Thicc group chat. And then me and Jeremy are chatting separately, and we're both in bed. And then we chat, we like text the group. I text the group chat that's something you said, and Courtney's like, Jeremy didn't say that. He's sleeping. I was like, no, he's not. We're talking right now. And it's the best thing because Kaylee my wife came downstairs and saw me in bed as well. Just start busting out laughing. So that's perfect. But yeah, my PWCC weekly auction. So they have like, you know how they have that they're partnered with SGC CSG, and was it SGC as well? Or CSG? No, CSG and BGS. Wow. So those two are partnered, and what you can do is send
you named every company, so you got there.
They're partnered with everyone. Well, you could send their card in, your raw card. They get it graded on like a 10-day service, and then they'll put it on their premier auction. So that's why I got a CSG card. But I got one of my PCs, my favorite player, my favorite team, Chelsea, and it's a Conte auto, his rookie auto for Chelsea. And it's a CSG 9.5. It's the new slab. It's actually pretty nice. The auto's 10. I was like, I gotta have it, and I got it for under $100 for a rookie auto from one of the best, like most lovable guys in soccer.
That slab actually matches the card pretty well because maybe it might be the internet, but it looks like there's like a black finish with like some gold trim, which matches the slab pretty damn nicely. And then that blue just pops.
I never really thought of that, but yeah, it actually, it's a nice card. I mean, when you he's won the World Cup, he's won the Champions League, he's won. I think he was with he's won the Premier League as well. He's won like everything possible already. I love him. But my other card, I got the same, is the future Ballon d'Or Benzema, and I posted this today. And people don't realize that this is his actual like first card because it's a playing card. Like if you look closely on YouTube, you could see they give attributes to his offense, defense. And then on the back, it shows like where he's good at on the field, his little red marks. And it was
he ended up being a much better than they expected or how he was rated at that current time.
Yeah, they gave him a 76.
Yeah, that's like when you have like a stud football player and they have like the bullshit Madden ratings.
Yeah. And it's in like, I don't know, Chinese, Japanese. I'm sorry. Don't want to offend, but it's in that. It's in, okay. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to be rude, but
that's not cool, bro. I don't think you're allowed to do that these days.
What is that? You tell me.
A language that's not English, and out of respect, I'm not just going to say random things. So,
all right, now make me feel like an asshole. But it's a sports card that they played with, so it's a hard grade black background. So PSA 9 pot. There's only 9 of these. No 10s, so had to have that.
Awesome. That's a dope pickup, man. I'm excited to what you're going to start doing with your collection and where you're gunning. I'm just going to say Manny's doing something, or at least he said he's going to do something. Let's see if the follow-up's there. We'll have to make sure it's Cali, baby. Keeps a boot in your ass to get it done. But he's working on something soccer-wise that, if anything, will be a badass conversation starter. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It is like, it was so good, I thought about stealing it, and I'm not a thief like that.
Okay. Yeah, right. But
I did.
you
I
thought
hung up the phone. I hung up the phone to look at them, and I'm like, these are so effing cool.
we could do it together
Aw, let's do it.
forever.
Let's do it.
Look,
Get
I
them
ain't
all
saying
snapped.
anything, but it's in a CSG slab, the green slab.
I don't know if I'm gonna do the CSG, but I'm gonna do the car, and
No.
might have to buy it in a CSG.
Yeah.
So, so I'm gonna say something. This is an unpopular opinion, and this is where the Dumb and Dumber thing came from. In the spirit of being honest and transparent, I'm going to go ahead and say something where this is my personal opinion. I also understand the hypocrisy because if I had one of these cards, I would probably think it's a little bit cooler than what it is. I am no longer a fan, or I don't hold this card as high on the pecking order as others, but I'm about done with the NFL Shield, dude. I am about like it used to be such a cool card and seemed like so hard to get. And every day I turn on Instagram, there's a new one being pulled. And National, I saw so many of them in shit lesser products,
Yeah.
like the brands that you probably shouldn't be buying. Where like every damn card has a shield, and it kind of it kind of takes the appeal or the luster out of it. I understand from big business and card why they ramp up the kabooms and the downtowns and the color blasts and all that stuff. But like, man, I felt like the shield would still be a little bit more rare, a little bit more scarce to come by.
Yeah, no, I agree. I one up you. The logo man too for NBA sucks, in my opinion too. Because if you look at the back of the card, you'll see not game worn, not specific player worn.
Not this again, dude. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. If they didn't wipe their ass with it, you don't want it.
I don't
I
want it.
got you on
I
it.
want their stench. I want their sweat and blood on it.
I don't want to be like a hater because you and I both know if we pulled something like a badass card with a shield, you'd be like, yeah, this is cool. But I think it would be more so this
We're
is
gonna end
cool
up
because I know it's gonna like it's coveted and people like I think it would I think I would believe it's cool because of the money value, not
Yeah.
because I actually think the card is cool looking.
No, it's ugly. I mean, I completely agree. I have different reasons why I don't, but I agree with you.
Let's hear the reasons.
Well, I told you the back of the card will say not player worn or not game worn. You have that with like National Treasures. When you get a logo man, it's the cream of the crop card. It should be from a player. And I get NFL, you only play like 17 games a year if you don't make the playoffs. So it's hard to get a jersey for these guys. But still, if this is like you're paying this much money, you should get a jersey at least player worn. You don't know, you're not even getting player worn. It could be someone on the bench that wore it, and they're just cutting out the logo of that. You even have logos that were from this year's set or last year's set from like 2012 when they're not even sponsored by the same brand. You have Adidas Nike shield or Adidas shield on a Nike player worn card.
Yeah, I want something new. I want something that not everybody pulls with regularity. It would be nice because now it's just like it used to be, oh wow, shield, or oh wow, logo man. Now it's like shield, logo man, shield, kaboom. Like it's just not. I don't know. And again, I'm not hating. If you have those cards, it's badass. I understand it. There are some cool looking ones, but just overall, like the shield in the grand scheme of things, just is no longer the football card for me.
You know what I like? What they should do, and maybe it'd be popular, maybe not. But why not have like artists? You have a ton of artists. Like I've seen them all the time. Why don't they create an insert where it's like a one-of-one insert and it's hand drawn, like painted in these products? Like there's some sweet. I went to Mint and there's about 2 people and they were hand painting cards and selling them. And these things were sweet. And I'm like, why doesn't Panini or Topps get a hold of this and put these in their product?
Dude, I am telling you, first off, some of those Topps cards, the Project 2020 or the Top 70, some of those cards are so badass.
Yeah.
Like, even though I never thought I would be into some of those cards, I've got 2 showcases of them hanging on the wall, and some of them are just so dope. And it would be like, man, if you could get that artist and let him design a card, how cool would that be?
just one. And it's a one of one. That would be a hit. Like, I mean, I'd rather have an artist, like a known artist card of a player that I like, rather than an NFL shield that no one's wore. They've got it off the team shop and just clipped it and put a picture of the player. It's more unique to have someone hand draw a picture for you.
Yeah, we did the Ship Shawana show, and the last one we did, we bought a ton, but the two cards that we liked the most, and they weren't even the most expensive cards, we picked them up for a couple $100, were 2016 Studio, and they were called sketch cards. And so you had, like, let's say what your base card was. They were called, like, there was only one sketch card per box, and so they were kind of like maybe like a case hit. Like, you got one per box, but so we bought the Kobe Bryant and no, I'm sorry, Kevin Durant, and I'm having a complete brain fart. I don't remember who else. It was two.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, and Steph Curry. And so the cards are like almost like if somebody with a pencil, like a very good artist, like almost as good as like a computer, drew the cards, and they look like a parallel of the actual base card.
Mm-hmm.
They were uniquely different, but it was subtle. But when you saw the card, it like they just popped, man. They just absolutely freaking popped. And those are the kinds of cards that I see now where I'll see it and I don't even care about price. Like, that is cool. That's going to create a conversation. That's something that if I pull out, nobody else is going to have. And
Yeah.
so, like, I want more of that. Like, I'm chasing that hobby high.
Yeah. Or how about these? And I know you love the product, Panini One. The spot, like the what were the hits? Like, for example, like Luka hitting the buzzer beater. What are they called?
Yeah.
Spotlight.
Signature spotlight or something?
Signature
maybe?
spotlight, where it's like a specific moment in that, like Luka hitting the game winner in the bubble. Kawhi Leonard hitting the game winner over Embiid, and they have their autograph. Like, that stuff is better than the NFL shield, in my opinion, or the logo man.
I bid on, and I got absolutely smoked. There was a signature spotlight, and it was like Vince Carter with this like iconic dunk, and then it had this beautiful silver autograph across the card. And I just saw it, and I don't collect Vince Carter. I've never bought a Vince Carter card. That card was so cool that I was like, boom, placing a bid, like that kind of stuff. Like the Lonzo Ball sneaker spotlight, where in the background of the card, he's wearing like the RIP Kobe shoes with like a little like hand drawn like note, and it's like this black card with this beautiful, like bright, popping, colorful shoes. Like, and I'm not even a huge Lonzo Ball fan, but like you see a card like that, and you're like, holy shit, that is fucking cool, man. That is cool.
For like, those are cool. Like, I think those, like you said, that one's better. Your sketches are better. One of one artists. I mean, the reason why I like those signature spotlights, when, for example, say they had Michael Jordan, the game winner at Utah, and it was a card autograph, you're going to want that card because you were, as a kid, you remember where you were. Like, I remember where I was when I watched Luka hit that game where I remember where quiet. It's like a memory to you. So I feel like those are more should be more valuable.
Check this out. This is, and I don't know if I'll be able to provide, and this was totally not planned, so forgive me. So we built the entire set of 1992 Upper Deck MVP holograms.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're not even in order, or they're in order, so I'm just pulling. But if you see, like, they're not the coolest looking card, but like the hologram in the back.
That's sweet.
And so, like, again, this is like not something Charles Barkley, it's got Jordan, Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those things. And we slabbed the checklist, everything. But it was one of those things that was like, you can't even see, like, from it. I wish you could see how colorful in person it is when the light hits it perfectly. It's like you're watching, like somebody took a screenshot of a color TV. But point being, not everything that we buy or aspire to buy is with the intent to sell. It's it's when it drops you dead in your tracks and you want to talk about it, you want to know more about the card or something like that. And so I was just thinking about like the shield has become like maybe boring would be a better way of saying it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that, they need that one of Panini Tops. Please get, or Fanatics, when you take over, one of one artist would be sick. Get rid of Tops 20. Well, you like Tops 2020, but imagine those Tops 2020 in a product as a one of one.
Yeah, I mean, like if these cards, if gold wasn't value, like it wasn't considered hot in the hobby, like I would take the Optic over the Prism all day. You've got an on-card auto. Yep. And then just for me, even though I love P. Will and like I do think this is a relatively decent card, but there's not a hell of a lot going on there. It's just a generic, like he's dribbling the ball, call it gold, put a number on it, and slap a sticker on it. Like that's not.
Not only that, they have their Photoshop from when they were in college.
Oh my goodness!
Cunningham and all of them are Photoshop when they were playing in college, so it's not even like they're just Photoshop pictures.
Yeah. So I mean that was something I know that might be unpopular, and again I'm not hating if you have one of those cards. It's just look, man, the golden auction just ended, and I was scrolling through that thing. The amount of shields that were in there was just like staggering.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Let's talk. I want to get through this too, though. TSA issues. Did you see videos of like people Pokemon boxes were getting ripped from National sealed cases? Like, how would you feel? And it's funny because like the people that are posting they're posting it as for content. I wouldn't even think of that. I'd be trying to fight the TSA person because they're opening my sealed boxes.
I think like maybe the initial reaction is document it because you were probably intending on selling that as a sealed case. Oh, yeah. And you would hope that like maybe I have video documentation that this was a sealed case and the damn TSA agent opened it. Next off, I'm glad that happened to somebody else and not me. That way I know if I ever buy sealed wax, I'm sure as hell not flying with it.
No, you ship it. Right?
Or you drive.
True. Yeah. What do you can they send it to like the BBCE company?
Would you?
No, but could you? I mean, if someone ripped my case open and you have it documented, you want to send it to get it resealed.
Who were they? Who was the people that took was it the 86 Fleer Jordan box where they replaced packs because packs were missing or some? I don't know, man. That stuff gets all. Anytime big money gets involved, things get weird, and people unfortunately do some less than desirable things. Mm-hmm. So I would just make it a point of driving or spending some money to have like a courier get it from point A to point B.
Yeah, I guess you're spot on because it's too risky nowadays with TSA because I guess I don't really deal with sealed cases, but it has to like eliminate the value by half, right? At least.
Or more. I don't know. I guess I've never played and I've never I've like, whatever little allocation we get, I'll help local card shops or we'll break it on Whatnot or Network or wherever, people want us at, but I've never actually moved like entire cases.
Okay.
Yet.
Well, we've been if we've been kind of foreshadowing. This episode we kind of been shitting on like the companies and stuff. We're very like, let's change it. We're both soccer guys, right? Premier League.
Yeah.
La Liga. Serie A, Bundesliga, all starts. Some started last weekend, the rest start this weekend. Are you pumped?
Yeah, I was I had the games on as much as possible, and I still don't have it dialed in because we got rid of cable. And so it's like a combination of what's shown on Hulu, what's shown on Amazon, and then some of the other services that we have. And so I was flipping through, and I was more interested to see, like, how does Haaland look with Man City? How does Lewandowski look with Barcelona? And stuff like that, and kind of seeing. And then it warmed my heart to see my guy Malik Tillman go up and just knock in an incredible header. It's awesome to read that Tyler Adams is like running around like a madman and showing great stuff. It's awesome to read about Aronson, dominating the ball and making cool stuff. So it's truly exciting. I realized that I have not nearly enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I had this idea where you could take, like, let's say Sports Center, but condense it into like a 30-minute package of the stuff you want. So you could give me like 5 to 10-minute recaps of specific games, along with like some needed commentary across all sports. And I think that's an idea that I'm probably going to do nothing with, that somebody else will, and make lots of money.
Well, I sat my thick ass on the couch all weekend and watched soccer. I watched most of the Premier League. La Liga starts this week, and Barcelona's in some money problems. They were buying up they're like us degenerates in the hobby. They were buying on credit, and now the league's like saying, yeah, you can't register these players because you don't have the money to give like these players. You got Frankie de Jong, which is in contract issues right now. So he might be going to court against his own team. So there's also 2 signings that they might not even be able to sign because of these issues. So you got that type of issue that I like. I want to see that because I'm a Chelsea fan, and they were basically stealing all of our players. We said we wanted them, and then they all went to Barcelona for cheaper money. Kind of hurt deep inside. But Haaland looked really good. I was on the board of he's going to be a bust, because usually when you go to Bundesliga to Premier, there's like a step, right? You're going to minor league to the big leagues is what they kind of say Bundesliga is. But man, he came in and scored 2 goals right away, and I'm like, shoot, he might score like 30 goals this season.
Yeah, he like, beautiful pass from De Bruyne. Like, he just took off, and that guy, like, he puts the ball in the back of the net like no other, man. I am genuinely excited to see what that dude ends up coming. And let's not get it twisted. Like, Nunez debut goal, that was, I think, as our friends across the pond would say, is cheeky. Like, it was a little black heel flick.
Yep.
You got Messi with like a half a bicycle kick. PSG looks like granted, they were playing a shit team, but they look completely different. They don't look like 4 superstars without direction. They look like a damn team.
Yeah, and they didn't even Mbappe didn't play. So, but yeah, the Messi kick, he's small. Like, that was a high jump for him. He's old and small. That was an awesome bicycle kick. As you could tell, I'm a Messi guy instead of a Ronaldo. But Ronaldo news too. Is he going to stay with Man U or get replaced? Chelsea was in the mix, but I don't know.
I read an article that when the Glazer family bought Man U about 15 years ago, give or take, they bought him for £600 million. 15 years later, the team still has £600 million of debt attached to them, and that their financial situation, coupled with the way the organization has been run, that pundits, people who are in the know, everything that I read, that they are even in the same league as Man City and Liverpool, and it's going to be a long time after the Glazers no longer own Man U before they become a competitive football club over there in the Premier League.
Well, that sucks for Man U fans. I think Barcelona's on that same trip too. So, and these are 2 like of high profile clubs. So,
well, let me ask you this. You know better than I. Let's say both Barcelona has some glaring financial issues that they need to work through. Man U has an owner who clearly, or not clearly, but it sounds as if they're not running the organization the way they could or the way they should. Would you rather be Man U or would you rather be Barcelona? Because for me, it's Barcelona, because even though with all their financial stuff, they are one of the most valuable franchises in all of sports, and they have got some young studs locked up on some, relatively team-friendly contracts.
Yeah, and I think like their promotion deals and like their Spotify and all these other deals, that's why they were buying these players, because they thought they could pay it off like on a credit, But they'll get back into better financial crisis before Man U. of course. So I would rather be Barcelona. And you got the big brand. I mean, the champions like El Clasico between Real Madrid has more viewers every time than, and this is a regular season game, than the Super Bowl.
Yep. And I think it's worth noting too, if we're going to tie this back to sports cards. One thing I saw prior to jumping on was that LAFC Gunnar acquired the gold Mbappe PSA 10, the World Cup gold Mbappe, and so it was one of those things where I don't know that man like on a personal level, but it's one of those things you want to like pick up the phone, man, and just say like congratulations, give him a pat on the back, because that's a damn fine card. I know we looked at it. I don't know if it's the same one that we saw at National through the auction, but that's a sweet card.
Yeah, Miles, LAFC Gunnar is like the greatest guy. If you want to learn more about soccer and you're listening to this, go follow LAFC Gunnar. And his he answers all his DMs, like, because I always ask him questions because I don't get into it like he does. But I want to learn. So he answers all my questions right away. Great content. He posts like goals all the time, and he's a big USA guy. So if you're big in coming in the World Cup, watch his clips.
Yeah, and he does a really fine job of doing post-auction recaps where he takes a screenshot of an auction and then like gives his take on it, which I find to be a very informative, interesting read, because he knows a hell of a lot more than I do. And I would also add that Soccer Card Inc. has been a tremendous resource for us. Like when I bought like 50 or 70 of those Page Rees Tops Now cards with Messi in the background, I bought those at like $2, $3, $4 a piece, and I submitted them all to PSA, and I had like just a plethora of 10s. And that person is routinely out in front, prospecting soccer and talking about why somebody may be good or why not. And so in the spirit of promoting other soccer card guys, I think that's a great account to follow.
Yeah, I like that. Do you want to get into some of the upcoming releases, like some of the big upcoming releases?
Yeah, I think just the one that really grabbed my attention was the Select WWE. It's come out now that your boy Vinny Mac has spent $19.6 million paying ladies to go away. Vinny Mac. Yeah, my man, the genetic jackhammer, arch nemesis to Stone Cold Steve Austin. $20 million that, the WWE has come out and had to share. But they've got their new product coming out, the Select. And after Prism ran wild and was at like $2K a box or whatever stupid number it got out to, Select comes out, and I believe retail price is not retail, but the MSRP is $250 a box, which to me seems like I might rip a couple of those for fun.
Oh yeah, I love, like, if you're a wrestling fan, you want those products, right? Like Drake's gonna get a couple of boxes and of that. But even like you said, Vince McMahon leaving last week, the Raw and SmackDown people are starting to love it again because it's going back to the old roots. I think they might even be switching the PG-13 back to PG-13. So it's going to be great for the people that love to watch WWE. What I'm looking at is Panini Obsidian Basketball comes out next week. And also PSG, remember that Topps or Mbappe signing? That comes out the end of the 19th, I believe. And that's
how much was that? 20K?
15.
15.
You want
to go in on a box?
Yeah, and we'll get a base Mbappe and nothing else.
I'll tell you what, I'll take Mbappe and Messi, and you can have everything else. You can have Neymar.
I don't want Neymar. I want Messi.
And hey, man, I made a fair offer. Yeah, I made a fair offer.
So that means I'll pay $1,000 and you pay the $14,000, and we'll call it a deal.
You owe me a grand, so we'll make it $2.
Okay.
All right, so it's that time. The segment that everybody seems to really, really enjoy. We get a lot of DMs, like a lot of LOL, or that was funny, or that was crazy, and so I have fun doing with it. And so you try to bring up questions where you can maybe catch the person off guard or something that you genuinely want to know. So I gave the Shield take. What is your least favorite? I want you to shit all over a card. that is incredibly popular, but you just don't like it? What is that card?
All right, so there's one card that's recently went for sale for a couple $1 million. We all know what it is. I hate LeBron. I hate Logo Man. The three Logo Man. LeBron, one of one.
All right, that's a one-off, and that's an easy.
Okay,
That's
you said okay. One other card. Okay, let's go. Mickey Mantle.
okay.
Because it's not even his true rookie. Everyone's claiming it's his true rookie, but
You're gonna go 51 Bowman.
Yep, 51 Bowman. If I had the money, I would want to. I mean, you want that 52 Mantle because everyone wants it, right? But 51 Mantle, you actually have his true rookie.
All right, fair enough. I was not expecting you to go vintage baseball, so I appreciate that take. Favorite movie?
Ooh. I like crime movies, and like mobster movies. So I love The Town. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie. I've seen that millions of times, but I usually just watch. Huh?
Shout out to Slane. He's a Boston rapper who is La Coca Nostra.
Yeah,
he's in that.
Yeah, I like that, but I'm more of like a TV series, like Peaky Blinders. Love Peaky Blinders and stuff like that.
Yeah, back when Atlantic City was a lot nicer back then. I'd rather deal with prohibition and gangsters blowing up everything than modern day Atlantic City. But that's just my opinion. I digress. All right, least favorite popular movie. Again, this is a movie. This is like how I hate Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Like you could never ask me this question because we would be here all day.
And now you're having me thinking like,
what's a popular movie or something that's widely regarded? So as an example, like The Office and Seinfeld, you couldn't pay me $1 million to watch that stuff.
That's funny you say that because I hated The Office and Seinfeld as well.
So movie.
Oh boy. I remember in the recent episodes I said Inception because it hurt my head. I don't know if that counts, but Inception because I don't like movies where I have like
you don't like to think.
I don't like to think. At work I'm thinking all the time, so I just want to relax and watch a comedy or someone kill someone.
Hey, dude, I am right there with you. My wife is big into like that crime stuff, and we were the last like 2 hours coming home from National. She put on some podcast called Morbid.
Yeah,
and I was like, "How the hell do you listen? This stuff is depressing." And the host did a really good job, but I was like, "Man, the content is terrible. No, thank you. Hard pass for me."
I might have to get checked because I like to watch crime movies. I listen to like Juice World, which is a depressing music with Post Malone, Chill. I might have to go get checked because I like all that stuff.
Next big card purchase.
Oh. I've been on a soccer kick. I want a Messi auto. But nice. not just any auto because he went through that scam of like I think someone was signing his auto, so I have to figure out which one to actually get.
You know what you got to go find is like maybe through TriStar or something like that where there's pictures where he was actually signing in person.
Yeah,
and find that auto, not the wife or the brother auto or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, we just get a hold of D-Rob and Storybook.
Yeah.
Storybook and have him. They have all the Messis, so
yeah, he'll get you the Ronaldinho though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What is your least favorite popular food?
Oh boy. Least. Okay, so I'm thick, right? But I hate cake and ice cream. I can't stand it. Does that count?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. So you don't like if they're independent, do you hate them or you only hate them as a package?
No, I hate both like them. I'm not a big sweet dessert person. I'm more of like a candy. Like I like Starburst candy or like the fruity candy rather than frosting and ice cream.
Here, I'll tell you one thing that is not to derail your segment, but one thing they don't tell you is when you get older, like ice cream destroys your stomach.
Oh yeah, and me.
Yeah. And so like I'm like, oh, everybody's having ice cream. Do you want some ice cream? Like, no, I have to go out in public tonight, and I can't have my stomach all jacked up because I had 2 scoops of vanilla. And I'm not even like crazy peanut butter, chocolate, all this shit. Just a couple scoops of vanilla and I would be straight.
Yeah.
That just tears my stomach up.
That's me too, but I haven't got to that age. Like with pizza, I'll eat pizza no matter what, and I'll regret it like instantly.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, what would be your dream for the hobby?
My dream. Everyone seems like it's like when you do like content and stuff, it's a competition. It's more like all of us just doing what we love, right? And being more positive in the hobby. And bringing people up, like the people that we've met, everyone's been so nice, but there's been negativity that kind of like overshadows all that. And people hate that because to bring more people into the hobby, when they see like us collabing with other people, they're going to be like, wow, I love this type of, let me get in the hobby. I want to buy some cards. But when's if you start seeing people go like, I don't like you, they're not going to want to get in the hobby. So I guess positivity.
I think that's awesome because there's been a couple times where we just decided like, hey man, maybe we can still collect cards, but just be quiet about it and just kind of like dip out because this isn't fun. We try to go above and beyond to treat people with the utmost respect, be complimentary of whether it's a 30-cent card or a $3 million card, and treat people a certain sort of way. And when there's not that reciprocity or you get caught in the crosshairs of something that's not a legitimate thing, it's a shitty feeling. And we're fortunate enough that we have good jobs, we have families. So this again is truly a hobby for us, and a hobby's supposed to be fun. I go out and shoot hoops, besides maybe a little banter or shit talk from friends. Everybody's nice.
Yep.
I can go play paintball. Everybody's nice. I can go to the movies. Nobody's gonna bother me. And then all of a sudden you put a little picture of a dude in a slab and it's the end of the world and you're a piece of shit. Exactly. So I think you nailed that one, dude. I bust your balls a lot, but I think you crushed that one. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud.
It was an hour of shit, but I mean you closed on a high note. So
I also want to before we go, check out the shirt.
Bam.
Let me turn around. Look at that.
Woo! Sports cards levity. So here's the deal. Manny loves Dumb and Dumber. He just told you that he's a complete he doesn't think. So he doesn't think. So he likes very lowbrow slapstick comedy. I, on the other hand, you couldn't pay me $1,000 to watch it. Is Dumb and Dumber a good movie? Yes or no, and why? Leave a comment. Best comment wins.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. And you might get something special if you win. Also, you don't like any Will Ferrell movies. Like you just want to let's just put you on blast. You don't like Will Ferrell. You don't like Kevin Hart movies. You don't like any of the comedy movies. So
I like a couple of Will Ferrell joints, but then he plays the same damn character in every movie, and it's the same tired ass jokes. Kevin Hart's stand-up is pretty good. On the Comedy Central roast, he's pretty good. But like he tends to play the same role in movies too. And so yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey. I want you guys all to know, like listening to give Jeremy crap because he hates all these guys. Not hate, I guess that's a bad word.
I don't hate. It's just not my cup of tea. Yeah, I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan. And what was the other one you said?
Adam Sandler.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think there's like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore are all right, and then everything else after that hard pass. You can keep, David Spade, keep that the hell away from me. No, thank you. Jeez. Just not my cup of tea. You know who and just to put in perspective, Comedy Central roasts are probably my favorite thing.
I love those.
So that kind of tells you, and that's how we operate my family. It's kill or be killed. I grew up that way, so we are a very sarcastic family. Like my 3-year-old talks shit. Like she will tell our 14-year-old that he's not a player from the Himalayas because she hears that. And so, yeah, man, it's just I'm interested to see. I suspect that there's some smart fans out there. They're going to say they don't like Dumb and Dumber.
Nope. It's going to be like 100% to 0, I bet.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to run the Instagram poll when we drop this. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be 1% because you're gonna go on reckless cards and put no before.
No, I won't.
All right.
Hey man, I'm comfortable in my own skin.
All right.
I'm comfortable in my own skin.
On that note, it's been a great hobby release, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.